Sleepaway Camp is Robert Hiltzik's first and only directorial film. Released in 1983, the film follows two siblings who, after witnessing the death of their father, is sent to a sleepaway camp by their aunt and current caretaker. A slasher terrorizes the camp. The film was panned critically when released, calling it a cheap derivative of Friday the 13th, but it has since gained a cult following. Today it is mostly remembered as having one of the strangest endings of all time. Guys, welcome back to Garage Slasher-thon, where every day for the month of October we revisit a slasher movie. Today we're talking about one of my personal guilty pleasures here, Sleepaway Camp. It's such a fun movie. That's all I'm going to say. It's a very fun movie, and I'm going to dive deeper into it. Love it or hate it, you will be entertained. Whether it's ironically or unironically, you can get something out of this movie. And I also think it's probably one of the most dated movies ever made, both from a content point of view and from a technical point of view. Starting with the technical point of view, the costumes in this movie are pretty outrageous, to say the least. It's interesting because usually when you watch these kind of teen camp movies, the guys are dressed normal and the girls are all like dressed very, how do you say that in a modern world? Sluttily, I guess? No, the girls are dressed very provokingly. Whenever they do these kind of teen movies, the women, they're wearing like crop tops and short shorts and bikinis, and the guys are kind of just dressed normal. In this movie, it's kind of the other way around. The guys are wearing crop tops, and the girls are kind of wearing nothing too revealing, which is a really interesting decision. I tried looking up Robert Hiltzik and seeing if he was a homosexual man. He wasn't. Or not that I found any information on it, but really, really weird how they went with that costume design decision. But hey, it works in some weird way. I'd hate to pull out my dad's old photo albums and see my dad in a fucking crop top. But yeah, the guys in this movie, they wear short shorts with their bulges just dangling out, crop tops, like whoever did the costume design, I'm not going to speculate, but they probably like that kind of thing. Besides the weird wardrobe, the fake mustaches in this movie are another thing to kind of mock. And then the acting is really over the top and cheesy. Just very corny, dated movie. But that's just talking about the technical side. What about the content? The content is what makes a movie, you know? The content is very dated as well, which is kind of what makes this movie fun as well. The first victim of the slasher is a pedophile. There's this guy who works in the camp. He's a cafeteria guy, and he's just a straight-up pedophile. He's not even subtle about it. He drops some very obvious hints as to what his sexual fantasy is. And all of his coworkers are just like, "Oh, Pat, you silly goose." There's a part where he's like talking to his coworkers and he's just gazing at the kids and he's just like licking his chomps and he's like, "There's no such thing as too young. You're just too old." And then his coworker's just like, "Ha, you silly goose, you," ha, with the zingers.
There ain't no such thing as being too young. You're just too old.
At least they had the balls to give him a very gruesome death, which I did appreciate. Pedophiles. Paul's a very nice guy. He loves many people from many different walks of life. Pedophilia is a walk of life I have a tough time accepting people of. Yikes. But other than that, one of the siblings is a very shy girl, and she doesn't like showering with the other girls. And the kind of bully character, the older woman bully, she has her hands on her hips, and she's like, "I know why she doesn't shower with us, because she's queer."
You queer or something?
And you're just like, that doesn't really make sense. Just pretending I'm a lesbian woman right now, I would want to jump in a shower with a bunch of naked women. That would be my bread and butter. Accusing someone of being queer for not jumping in the shower with a bunch of naked people of the same sex, I think this girl needs a lesson on the LGBTQ community. Come on. The one thing that this movie does get really right, though, is really capturing how kids sound like. Because I worked in a high school, and kids swear more than adults. They're always, like, trying to one-up each other with swears. And especially the guy sibling in this. He's always like, you cocksucker, you motherfucker, you fucking shit, you, fuck you.
Cocksuckers! Pricks! I'm gonna fight you chicken shit! Pricks! Pussies!
Angela!
I'm gonna fight you chicken shit! Come on, you fucking pussies! I'll kick your freaking asses all over this goddamn camp, you fucks!
They really sound like kids, in my opinion.
She is fucked up. How come you're so fucked up?
Fuck you!
And that's one thing I like about 80s movies compared to nowadays, is that when there's kid characters, they actually sound like kids. It's not just boomers trying to throw in some zoomer dialogue like, yo, I tweeted, bro! Yeah, they actually really captured the voice of kids pretty accurately, in my opinion. It's something the 80s were really good at doing with movies like The Goonies, and the list goes on, Stand By Me. Okay, there's a pretty big elephant in the movie that I need to address. Let me just take a breather here. The ending. We need to talk about that ending. So, for those of you who don't know the movie, I'm going to spoil how it ends. So, there's a slasher going around terrorizing the camp. People are trying to find out who it is. Turns out it's one of the siblings, the girl siblings. Or so we thought. The girl sibling actually had a penis. And it turns out that the aunt that adopted the two siblings, once their dad died, brainwashed the guy into becoming a girl. That's the twist of the movie. Which is really weird, because a lot of slasher movies kind of do the Freudian or the kind of transgender thing. Psycho does it, and we're going to talk about other slasher movies who do that as well, that kind of transgender is a slasher thing. But in this movie, it really comes out of nowhere. There are no hints as to this girl might be a guy the whole time, which is really weird. The only minor hint is that the girl doesn't like going in the water. And the reason you think that is because, okay, her dad died in like a boating accident, so maybe that's why she doesn't like the water. And she doesn't shower with the other girls, like I mentioned before. So you're like, okay, that's like the only kind of hint you gave to the audience that this chick has a dick. Which is weird. And then there's the whole thing of like, this girl killed 7 people, but the big twist is that she has a penis. I don't know, it just feels a little weird to me. Like, why is that the big twist? You know, imagine the police officers in this movie. They're like, the girl, she murdered 7 people in cold blood. Sir, she also had a penis. Oh, what? A penis? That's disgusting. I don't know, it just feels a little weird how that's kind of just how I felt watching the movie. It's like, why are they putting so much emphasis on the fact she has a penis? Why is that the big twist? Isn't it enough that she murdered 7 people? She has a penis? I don't know. The whole movie does kind of have this overall theme of like queerness going on. The girls are very touchy with one another. The guys are very touchy with one another. Like I said, the guys kind of touch each other very provokingly. They're dressed provokingly. There is kind of a gay vibe going on in the movie, I feel. But it still doesn't set up that ending, which is just pure out of nowhere. Yeah, she has a penis. I think the ending, at the end of the day, works. It's very... love it or hate it. It will invoke something. I watched this with my friend, and I didn't tell him what the ending was. And when that ending happened, he died of laughter. Like, I've never seen him laugh that hard in my life. And it's for the reason I said. It's like a slasher movie. You think it's enough this person is going around killing people, but like the whole thing is like, whoa, she has a penis, dude. It feels very a product of its time in that regard. And there's like this whole internet debate as to if the ending is transphobic or not. I think it's somewhat transphobic, but I also think it's entertaining and it works in the movie. Sleepaway Camp is not the kind of movie... it's not the kind of movie you watch if you want to get an accurate representation of the current times. It's a time capsule, you see? A time capsule of what it's like living in the 80s. That weird era where transgenderism wasn't that like mainstream. So it's like, yeah, it's a product of its time. You gotta cut it some slack there, and it does make for a really entertaining ending. And as a kid, when I saw the ending of this movie, I was kind of freaked out by it. It is a really freaky ending because apparently the girl didn't want to wear a prosthetic penis, which is understandable. Kid actresses should not be naked wearing prosthetic penises. So what they did is they found this other kid actor who's a boy and put a mask of the girl on his face. And apparently, to get the actor to do this, mind you, he's a kid, or maybe like 17, 18. To get the actor to do this, they got him drunk so he wasn't nervous, gave him a prosthetic face of the actress, and just had him be bare-ass naked in front of the camera, showing his dingling to the whole audience. And that's why, like, in the ending, her face can't move. She's just stuck, like, I would have never guessed that it was a mask, and it's kind of, like, darkly lit, so it kind of fools the eye a bit. But it really works, that ending, just because of how cheap and, like, off-putting it is. That kind of use of practical effects does make it a little more uncanny and unsettling, which I like. I think it might be transphobic. I don't know. I'm not the best judge for this thing. You know, I don't really follow Reddit in that way, or Twitter or anything. But if I showed this to a transgender person, I don't think they'd be offended by it. They'll laugh at it because it's like funny. I don't think they'd be scared of it necessarily. They'd just kind of laugh at it, I think. That's how I feel anyway, but who knows? I'm not a really good judge of this. But yeah, that ending, it's like, it's the whole focus of the movie. It's just that ending. There's so many thoughts that cross your mind when you see that ending. Why did this happen? Is it justified? How does it hold up? Did it hold up back then? And was it? It's just so many questions are like about that last 4 minutes of the movie, which is pretty amazing. And it's why I like the movie. Ultimately, I view this as a time capsule of the 80s. It really works in that regards. It's campy, it's dumb, it's fun. I love it. But yeah, that's how I feel. Guys, have you seen Sleepaway Camp? Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on that weird-ass ending. And I'll see you guys around. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Sleepaway Camp. You won't be coming home.